Nuclear winter from a US-Russia conflict would wipe out 63% of the world's population. According to a recent research, more than 5 billion people, nearly 63% of the world's current population, would die of starvation in the aftermath of a full-scale nuclear war between the United States, Russia, and their allies. According to the researchers, the conflict would cause widespread fires that could eject up to 165 million tons, 150 million metric tons, of soot into the Earth's atmosphere, resulting in crop declines in food-exporting countries like the United States and Russia that would reduce global calorie production by up to 90%. The study, which was published on August 15 in the journal Nature Food, is the latest in a 4-decade-long effort to sketch out the possibility of nuclear war. According to the most recent Stockholm International Peace Research Institute study, Russia possesses 5,977 nuclear weapons and the United States has 5,428 of the world's approximately 12,705 nuclear warheads. China, with 350 nuclear weapons, is the country with the third most. India and Pakistan each have 160 and 165. And here's how the quote scene will look like in this template. Would cause climatic change that is unparalleled in human history. In a nuclear war between the United States and Russia, more people will die from starvation in India and Pakistan alone than in the countries actually waging the battle. The most immediate consequences of any nuclear war, at least for individuals in a targeted city, have been widely publicized since the United States dropped the atomic bomb Little Boy on the Japanese city of Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. Within 5 months after its detonation, the single bomb killed an estimated 140,000 people and destroyed or badly damaged more than 60,000 of the city's approximately 90,000 structures. 6. Eyewitness testimonies collated by journalist John Hersey and published in 1946 describe the catastrophic damage and quick aftermath of the strike. The light of the bomb first emerged as a dazzling, noiseless flash as brilliant as the sun, followed by the shock wave, which hurled corpses beneath collapsing buildings. The vaporized dead's clear, black shadows were seen stenciled on the walls and streets in the aftermath, while survivors who were near to the blast emerged nude, their skin sloughed off by the heat of the explosion, to roam the devastated city in startled amazement. Studies began as early as 1947 to document the suffering that followed the attack, which would endure a lifetime for many. Radioactive fallout had coated the region, a result of the nuclear fission process that gave Little Boy its devastating power. Increased rates of cancer, cataracts, and other health issues remained for years in survivors who had been close to the bomb's epicenters in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which was bombed 3 days later. However, it would take experts 4 decades to discover about and debate the most devastating and terrifying result of even a small-scale nuclear war, so-called nuclear winter. Radioactive dust and smoke would block out a major percentage of the sun's brightness in this apocalypse scenario. With temperatures dropping, many of the world's crops would perish, causing a worldwide famine and wiping off billions of people. To simulate how this apocalyptic event would affect the planet's ability to sustain life, the researchers calculated the amount of soot produced by 6 potential nuclear war scenarios, ranging from 5 scenarios based on a limited war between India and Pakistan over the Kashmir region, which would produce 5.5 million to 52 million tons, 5 million to 47 million metric tons, of soot depending on the scale of the conflict, to a full-scale global nuclear war involving India and Pakistan. The scientists entered the soot concentrations into the National Center for Atmospheric Research's NCAR Community Earth System Model, a forecasting tool that models changes in Earth's sunshine, temperature, and precipitation. These adjustments were then put into NCAR's Community Land Model, which provided the scientists with a country-by-country breakdown of the substantial losses in corn, rice, soybean, wheat, and fish harvests caused by a nuclear winter. Assuming that international trade stopped and that remaining resources were not hoarded, the scientists assessed how nuclear winter would diminish the quantity of food calories produced globally, as well as the number of people who would go hungry as a result. The researchers discovered that in the worst-case scenario of a nuclear war between the United States and Russia, temperatures on Earth's surface could drop by up to 29 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius, or more than 3 times the temperature difference between now and the last ice age, killing 5 billion people. In the most severe conflict between India and Pakistan, world calorie output might fall by half, resulting in 2 billion fatalities. According to the experts, food importing countries in Africa and the Middle East would be the most impacted. Meanwhile, Australia and New Zealand would fare the best since they would dodge most of the northern hemisphere bombs and rely on wheat harvests that would grow better in the colder environment. The important thing to know is the amount of smoke being put into the atmosphere, said study. Co-author Owen B. Toon, a professor of atmospheric and oceanic sciences at the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics, who collaborated with Carl Sagan on the 1983 paper that is credited with popularizing the concept of nuclear winter. The energy unleashed by these flames is 100 to 1,000 times that of the weapons themselves. In the stratosphere, it does not rain. As a result, when that much smoke gets up there, it stays there for years. Toon, Sagan, and their colleagues were interested in nuclear winter after learning about a stunning discovery regarding what destroyed the dinosaurs. A different group of scientists found in 1980 that an asteroid impacted Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula towards the end of the Cretaceous era, around 66 million years ago. The asteroid, as is well known now, killed off the non-avian dinosaurs. However, it was the cooling cloud of dust and debris created by the collision that killed around 75% of Earth's fauna, including the dinosaurs. Toon, Sagan, and their colleagues extended this knowledge to nuclear confrontations using basic atmospheric models and satellite data. They discovered that small-scale thermonuclear battles with as little as 101 megaton nuclear weapons might spark enough fires to send a thick layer of jet black smoke into the atmosphere, causing land temperatures to plunge below 5 to -13 F, -15 to -25. They predicted a cooling impact lasting up to 2 decades. The prospect of Homo sapiens extinction cannot be ruled out, their study found. Sagan's interest in the Drake equation, the renowned formula that allows scientists to estimate the number of intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations residing in the Milky Way, drew him to worries about humanity's long-term survival. Concerning the equation's author, scientist Frank Drake, the early calculations estimated that the advanced alien civilizations inhabited our galaxy may number somewhere between 20 and 50 million. This prompted Sagan to consider the Fermi paradox. If that were the case, why hadn't we seen them yet? He came to the conclusion that intelligent civilizations couldn't exist very long because they were destroying themselves with nuclear weapons, Toon said. While the overall number of nuclear weapons in the world has decreased sharply since the Cold Wars, and the number of countries that possess them has increased, and bilateral peace treaties discarded by Russian President Vladimir Putin and then US President Donald Trump are unlikely to be renewed during Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, according to a US Department of Defense assessment, China may be preparing to double its nuclear arsenal to more than 1,000 by the end of the decade. All nuclear-armed states are increasing or upgrading their arsenals, and most are sharpening nuclear rhetoric and the role nuclear weapons play in their military strategies, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute wrote in its latest annual report, which projected global annual military spending at a record high of $2.1 trillion for 2021, the seventh consecutive year of growth. According to the authors of the new study, the new research emphasizes the necessity to commit to long-term disarmament methods that will eliminate nuclear weapons from the world. If nuclear weapons exist, they can be utilized, and the world has gotten dangerously near to nuclear war, Robach warned. Nuclear disarmament is the only long-term answer. The United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons has been ratified by 66 countries, but none of the 9 nuclear powers. Our research demonstrates that it is past time for those 9 countries to heed to science and the rest of the world and sign this deal. Furthermore, the current nuclear arms reduction deal, known as New START, is slated to expire in 2026, according to Tom Colina, Director of Policy at Plowshares Fund, a San Francisco-based charity that supports projects to prevent nuclear weapon proliferation and use. Aside from putting weapons off alert and committing to only second use, Colina added, both parties should cooperate to decrease their enormous arsenals by drafting a new deal to replace the New START Accord. The 10th Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference, which takes place this month, will be a critical test of these political hurdles. Delegates are now meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York to reaffirm and enhance nuclear nonproliferation and disarmament promises. According to the Arms Control Association, no progress has been made at the conference thus far.